Hi everyone, this is Kyle, and it looks like Rachel Zegler's given another interview regarding Snow White, which has been delayed till 2025. Now, she made some comments at D23 a little over a year ago, and she made some statements about the original Disney animated Snow White, calling the prince a stalker, calling the movie dated, and that made a lot of fans mad. She and Gal Gadot, they were emphasizing Snow White's not going to be saved by a prince. Zegler was talking about how Snow White's going to be a fierce leader or something like that in the upcoming live-action Snow White. Fans did not like that. And this new interview here looks like it's more of the same. So this is from Collider.com. Now I'm not going to read the entire article here. I'm going to start right down here and I'm just going to read what she said. And I tell you folks, all the people that are not happy with her, a lot of the people that don't really like her that much, I mean this interview, it just gives them a little further reason as to why. Alright, so I'm going to start right here. During a recent Ladies' Night interview with Collider's Perry Nemiroff, Zegler talked about how her version of the character will be different from the animated one. So she says, "Then something that kind of emerged was this leader within her that I was so happy that the writers wanted her to be, and the fact that it's born out of her upbringing, but she finds it within herself throughout the course of the film, and throughout the people that love her in the film and show their love for her. Mark Webb and I kind of called it her third eye opening." Now this next statement right here might be the worst part of this. There's a couple of scenes in there where she's speaking like someone who's been alive for much longer than she has, and that's something I relate to. Something that I've been told all my life. Yeah, this statement comes off as a bit arrogant, yeah, I think. I mean, Zegler essentially is saying that the Snow White in the upcoming live-action remake is wise beyond her years, and Rachel Zegler here says that's something I can relate to, or that's something I relate to. So essentially she's saying that she thinks that she is wise beyond her years. Yeah, that statement right there, that's just going to give people further reason not to like her. And then the statement ends right here, something that I've been told all my life. I mean, folks, today you could argue that we have a younger generation growing up that's never once been told that they're wrong, that they've never once been told that they have flaws that they need to work on or they need to improve or anything like that. I mean, you could argue a lot of younger people today are basically being told you're perfect the way you are and stuff like that. And this last part of the statement, something I've been told all my life in regards to someone who's been alive much longer than she has, or someone wise beyond her years. Sounds like Rachel Zegler may have been getting told that all throughout her life. I mean, it sounds like she's one of these people who's never once been told that they're wrong, never once been told that you need to work on yourself, you need to improve yourself, or anything like that. So the statement ends, "So getting to bring that to a character that I love so deeply and I've spent so much time with now, it's a really amazing thing as an actor and as a performer, and I can't wait for people to see it." Alright, the article kind of just goes into other Disney live-action remakes that they've made. I won't read through this. But a few things I would say about this new interview she gave. Number one, I mean, Rachel Zegler, she's already seen by a lot of people as a very unlikable person. I think this just gives those people further reason not to like her. And then another comment I'll make here. Now, back in the summer, we had this picture right here surface, and it looked like these were going to be the seven dwarfs or seven magical creatures or seven hippies or whatever you want to call them. And a lot of people were having quite a field day with that. And then a few months or so later, end of October, Disney, they announced that they're delaying the movie by a full year, which we heard was probably going to be happening. And then suddenly they released this picture with Snow White with seven dwarves. And then people are wondering, okay, what's going on? Is Disney making changes here? Because a lot of people were not happy with the stuff that was being leaked and the stuff that Zegler was saying about the direction of the movie, and so we were wondering if Disney was kind of freaking out and they were making some changes. But we have this report now that there's going to be seven dwarves and then these, I guess, seven bandits, something like that. They're going to be two different groups from what it looks like. Which, when I hear that report, that looks like these are going to be two different groups. I interpreted that as, no, Disney's not going to be listening to fans. They're not going to be making any changes. It's going to be full speed ahead with current day Snow White. And this interview right here from Rachel Zegler, where she's emphasizing again Snow White's going to be a fierce leader, strong woman, girl boss. I mean, this to me is just a little further proof that no, Disney is not making any changes. They are not listening to fans. They are gonna current day Snow White, so to speak, and they're going full speed ahead with that plan. And then finally, when Disney announced that they were delaying Snow White, I mean, the reason essentially was because of the actor strikes, which, yeah, I mean, I think that could be the reason. But with so many people unhappy with the things Rachel Zegler has said about the movie, and with so many people unhappy with the direction of the Snow White remake, Disney has to be hoping that that full year delay will give a lot of time for all this to blow over, or give it a lot of time for people to forget about this stuff. I mean, they have to be at least hoping that that'll happen. I don't think it will. I don't think people are going to forget anything that the Snow White star has said. But again, I bet you Disney's hoping that some people will over the course of the next year. And a big reason why is, from what we've been hearing, their production budget for Snow White, $330 million. I mean, that is a huge budget. They put a lot of money into this movie. If they're going to be putting that much money into it, they need it to do well, which I don't think it will at this point. I don't think anyone else thinks it's going to do well at this point. I mean, the general rule of thumb here is that a movie needs to make in theaters like 2.5 times whatever its production budget is in order to break even. If you do the math on this, $330 million, multiply that by 2.5, that's $825 million that Snow White would need just to break even. Or let's be generous and just multiply it by 2. That's $660 million it needs just to break even. Do any of you think it's going to make that much in theaters when it comes out? Because I don't. At this point, I'm not sure it's going to come anywhere close to that. But again, back to the delay. While the reason given for the 1-year delay for this movie is the actors' strikes, I do suspect that the people at Disney behind closed doors, they may be also thinking that we have to delay this movie because a lot of people are not happy with what we're doing, and there's a lot of controversy around this movie, and maybe delaying it 1 year might give it some time for all this to blow over. But if the star of Snow White's going to keep on making statements like this, where she's talking about how they're going to be updating the movie, they're going to be current daying the movie, and if statements like this keep coming out, no, people are going to be just as angry a year and a half from now when the movie comes out as they are now. And hell, they might be even more angry with what Disney's doing. I mean, my original box office prediction for this movie was like $500 million, $500 million, partially based on how other previous live-action remakes have been doing, a little bit based on the most recent live-action they've done, Little Mermaid, which made like $570 million at the box office. I mean, I was thinking originally, some people are just going to look and say, hey, it's Snow White, I know what Snow White is, let's go see it. But at this point now, I'm not so sure. I have a feeling it's going to do real bad. I'm not sure it's going to make that much, because people are not happy with what they're doing with Snow White, and they don't really like the person who's starring as Snow White, and the person starring as Snow White, Rachel Zegler, she is continuing to emphasize that they're going to be making changes and that they're going to be updating Snow White for modern audiences. Yeah, a year and a half from now, I think this movie's going to flop at this point. I think it's going to be pretty bad. Everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, if you consider hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you all very much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Take care until then.